Assalamu alaikum. This is Khurram Shahzad from Garrison Academy Senior Campus, Gujranwala, and I welcome you all to FBISE Online Sport Program. This is the 13th lecture of 5th week on the topic of programming languages. In this lecture, we will revise several aspects of our last lecture, like what are the high level languages, what are the low level languages, what is machine language, what is assembly language. Then we will go for today's topic, which is most popular high-level languages. We will discuss the C, C++, Java, Visual Basic and C Sharp as most popular high-level languages, and then we'll finally conclude our lecture by discussing about what is a compiler. A compiler is simply a software which is used to convert high-level languages into machine languages. So let's get started. So last time we have discussed about programming languages. Any language which is used for writing computer program is called programming languages. There are two types of programming languages: low level languages, the languages which are used the languages which are easy to understandable by computer system and difficult to understandable by human beings. In the low level languages, we have discussed about machine language. Programming language. Machine language is the programming language that is directly understandable by computer hardware. Is known as machine language. This language uses zeros and one as source code, and we have to write every single thing in the form of zeros and ones. This is the most difficult language in this world. It is not commonly used in nowadays. Then we have discussed about assembly language. Assembly language, instead of using binary codes, it uses some symbols. For example, it have some symbol. For example, if you want to open a file, it will open a file by using a symbol: open, then close, then shut down. This uses some symbolic codes. These codes are called mnemonics. So this language is easy to learn because it uses some codes instead of binary sequences. So assembly language is one step advanced as compared to machine language. Then we have discussed about high level languages. High level languages are very easy for human beings. These are the English oriented or English like languages and commonly used for writing computer programs. Nowadays we are using high level languages as our programming languages. This uses English like words like print, go, if and etc. for programming reason. There are types of programming languages. There are types of high level languages, which is procedural languages. Procedural languages are based on the technique of modular programming. These procedural languages divide the code into smaller parts called modules and do programming in the small chunks called modules. This divide our larger program into smaller one, and then go for a smaller part of problem and then solve this problem, and then make a final solution by concatenation or by joining all the solved parts. Then we have discussed about the structured programming languages. Structured languages consist of three fundamental elements, which are the sequence. Sequence means a program will flow line by line. Then selection structure, it will select some code of program to execute and ignore some code of program. Then we have discussed about repetition. Repetition structure is a technique which will repeat the code. Repetition means repeat the code until a certain condition is fulfilled. Then we have discussed about object oriented programming languages. Object oriented programming languages are the languages which uses objects, anything which have some characteristics, which have some properties and which have some functions is called object. The object oriented programming languages go for objects and do programming on objects. Then we have discussed about the characteristics of high level languages. High level languages are very easy for the human beings. High level languages have following characteristics. You have to revise this by your own. These are very easy topics. Now our today's topic is popular high level languages. in the popular high level languages, the first one is C and then C++. C is the most famous language of the past, then C++. We will go for C. C language was developed by early 1970s by Dennis Ritchie. It is developed by Dennis Ritchie at Bell Laboratories. You have to remember this line very clearly because this will be in your examination. C language was developed by early 1970 by Dennis Ritchie at Bell Laboratories. C has become one of the most popular programming languages today. C has become most popular language, so this is why we are going to study C language in our course. It is a highly structured programming language that is easy to understand. It is highly structured programming language. In the past, it was mainly used for writing system programs such as operating system, compiler, assembler, etc. But today, it is used for writing all types of application program as well, such as word processing program, spreadsheet program, database management system, educational program, and games, etc. So C is the very popular programming language in nowadays. We will do programming in C language in our whole course. C was the very popular language of the modern world, but it lacks one specification, one characteristics which is most common in nowadays. C doesn't have object oriented language. So C++ was developed. C++ is the advanced version of C language. C++ was developed by Bjorn Stroustrup at Bell Laboratories during 1983 to 1985. This line is also most important because it will be in your examination. So C++ was developed by Bjorn Stroustrup at Bell Laboratories during 1983 to 1985. C++ is the superset. Superset means it have all the features of C and some more feature which do not exist in C language. So C++ is the superset of C language, meaning that any valid C program is also valid C++ program. Any program written in C language will be executed in C++ also. The purpose of developing C++ was to provide programming facilities to easy and quickly write more powerful program which is based on the object oriented technique. C++ is a very famous object oriented programming language. Then next, Visual Basic. Visual Basic or short form VB is a high level language which evolved means it grows from the earlier version called Basic. Basic stands for Beginners All Purpose Symbolic Instruction Code Language, which was Microsoft's very earlier language for writing graphical programs. VB is very popular programming language for writing Windows and web applications. It provides a graphical development environment to programmers to develop powerful Windows and web application. VB is actually a graphical programming. It does not have the syntax like C++, but it have an advanced version of interface which is a graphical interface used to design graphical application, GUI application. So VB is most advanced. VB is commonly used for developing business programs such as payroll system, inventory control program. The user can also write programs related with the engineering, science, arts, education, and game, etc. in VB. So VB is most popular language, was most popular language, but nowadays VB is not most commonly used. The advanced version of VB is converted into C sharp. So let's go for C sharp. C sharp or C hash, both names are correct. C hash or C sharp, pronounced as C sharp, is a language developed in 2000 by Microsoft Corporation. This line is also very important. It is a simple, modern, general purpose programming language. It is the ultimate language of Microsoft, which will cover all the other languages specification in one language. Syntax of C sharp is very similar. Syntax means the code style or writing style of C sharp is very similar to C and C++. It also has some features of Java. So this is a language which includes the specification of all the languages. It is a language that makes computer programming easy and efficient. It provides facilities to write web applications that can be used across the internet. All types of program including games, utilities, operating system, compiler, business application, web-based application can also be developed in C Sharp. So C Sharp is actually the language which can do all the things, and it is developed by Microsoft Corporation. So C Sharp is actually the challenging language as Java language. So C Sharp is the actual advanced version of C and C++ and VB. So this language cannot do all the things, so C Sharp will be preferred in all cases. Next is Java. Java is a high level language developed by Sun Microsystem. This language is important because it will be in your examination. It is very similar syntax to C and C++. In Java, the user can write all types of program as those written in the other programming languages, and small program that can be embedded in a web page access through the internet. So this language is actually do programming all kinds of devices, all kinds of web pages, and this language can do all the things. Java is an ideal language for network computing. So Java is the actual language of network computing. It is used for writing program for a wide range of devices such as computers, networks, etc. It is widely used in web applications. In current version, most of the web browsers made Java enabled. A few browsers that supports Java are Microsoft Internet Explorer, Firefox, Mozilla Firefox, Google Chrome, Safari browser, etc. So all the browsers supports Java because Java is the network language. So if you want to do internet like work and networking, so your browser is based on the Java. So Java is very important and very efficient language which is developed by Sun Microsystems. Now we have gathered all the points about the high level languages. We have discussed all the high level languages which are famous in nowadays. So let's get started. One thing, that every language which is on high level, which is high level language, cannot be run on computer system. So how can we make these languages run in the computer system? For example, if you don't know the English language and you know only Urdu language, the person who understands English language cannot understand you, and you as a native Urdu speaker cannot understand English language. So in the same way, computer can understand only the machine language, which is binary language, and you are writing codes in English like language. So there should be a translator there which will translate the languages for you. If you are hire an English translator for you, your language will be converted into English for those person, and those languages are converted to Urdu version by the translator. So translator will help you to translate the languages. In the computer system, we also have a translator which is used to convert high level languages into low level languages for the computer, and low level languages to high level languages for the human being. So this software named as compiler and interpreter. A compiler is a computer software that translates source program. Source program means the program written in the computer system in English like language into object program. Object program means the program which is runnable, which is executable on computer system. For example, it will take our English like code which we have written, and then the compiler convert this code into computer readable form, which is binary form. So compiler is a software which translates high level language code into low level language code, or English like, or you simply say that high level language code into low level language. Source program consists of the statement written in high level languages such as C, Pascal, Java, etc. For example, a program written in C language by a program to print a table of numbers is known as source program. Source program actually the code of written by a person, Any code which is written by a person is source program. When it translates with a compiler into machine language, the result program is known as object program. So these concepts are most important: what is a source program and what is an object program. So you have to remember this: what is source program, which is written by a human being or which is written by in high level languages, and the object program is the translated form of this program in low level. The object program is understandable by a computer processor but difficult for human to read and understand because it consists of zeros and ones only. So source program is the code of high level languages and object program is the translated form of computer code. There is another software which translates one language from another language. This software is known as interpreter. Interpreter translates high level languages program into machine language, but it translates one instruction at a time and execute it immediately before translating the next instruction. Our compiler can do all the things at once. It can do all the things by just one click, but interpreter is a program which will do the translation process one by one or line by line. It can only translate one line at a time and then execute this line, then it will go for the next instruction. Example of programming language that uses interpreter are JavaScript, Basic and Visual Basic. These languages use interpreter, not the compiler. Interpreter reads each statement of source program one at a time and determine what it is mean and execute it. It only do for one. It means that each time a statement is read, it must be translated into machine language before the execution. Compiler translates the entire program into the program before the execution by the computer. Therefore, compiled program runs fast because it do all the things at once. But interpreter do these things one by one or line by line. So we will definitely prefer our compiler because it do all the things at once or only single click. So this is our today's topic. We have discussed some famous language: C language, C++ language, Visual Basic, C Sharp and Java. Then we have discussed about the compiler, which is a program which is used to translate one high level code to one machine level or low level programming language. Then we have discussed about the interpreter. This do the same task but line by line. So this is today's lecture. You have to understand this lecture very deeply because most of the examination MCQs and short questions are based on this topic. So you have to remember these topics and you have to remember the language and their creator. For example, C was developed by Dennis Ritchie at Bell Laboratories and C++ was developed by Bijan Strostrup at Bell Laboratories. And you have also remember dates because it will be in MCQs in the final examination. So this is our today's lecture. Thank you very much for today's lecture. Allah Hafiz.